The hip-hop world is buzzing. And it's not just the music, it's the drama. Remy Ma has just broken her silence, weighing in on one of the most talked-about controversies in recent memory. With her signature confidence and no-holds-barred attitude, she's calling for calm, urging the parties involved to step back and have a serious conversation. But you can bet that her words aren't just casual advice. They carry weight, influence, and a hint of warning. For months, rumors, leaks, and social media feuds have dominated the headlines, with fans and fellow artists taking sides. Emotions are running high, and tensions have escalated to a point where one wrong move could set off chaos. Remy Ma's message is simple yet powerful. It's time to communicate. It's time to resolve issues. And it's time to stop letting pride and ego fuel unnecessary conflict. But knowing the personalities involved, talking it out might not be as easy as it sounds. History shows that past grievances, misunderstandings, and public scrutiny have a way of complicating even the simplest conversations. Remy Ma's voice is one of experience. She knows firsthand how quickly things can spiral out of control when tempers flare and emotions take over. Stay tuned, because in this video we're breaking down what Remy Ma said, why her advice matters, and what could happen next if the parties involved actually take her words to heart. The stage is set, the tension is high, and the next move could change everything. The tension in the hip-hop community had reached a boiling point, and everyone knew it. Rumors, social media jabs, and behind-the-scenes drama had created a storm, one that fans and industry insiders alike were watching unfold with bated breath. And then came the voice that no one expected to cut through the chaos: Remy Ma. Remy Ma's reputation in the rap world isn't just built on her music. It's built on her wisdom, experience, and ability to speak truth in moments where most people would stay silent. Over the years, she's witnessed feuds escalate, friendships crumble, and careers jeopardized by unchecked emotions. Now she was stepping into one of the most volatile situations of the year, offering a perspective that only someone with her experience could provide. In a recent statement to the press, Remy Ma made it clear the only way to resolve the tension was to talk it out. Her words were straightforward, but the implications were massive. She wasn't merely suggesting a casual conversation. She was calling for accountability, dialogue, and a resolution before things spiraled further. For fans following the drama, her intervention was both shocking and necessary. The drama began weeks earlier, when a series of confrontations between two high-profile figures erupted publicly. What started as rumors quickly escalated into viral clips, social media debates, and heated exchanges. The industry watched closely, knowing that without mediation, the situation could turn from a minor feud into a major public disaster. Remy Ma, understanding the stakes, stepped in to offer guidance. Her advice wasn't just about stopping the fighting, it was about preventing long-term damage. She spoke candidly about the consequences of letting pride and ego dictate actions, noting that unresolved conflict can erode trust, destroy reputations, and even impact careers. Her voice carried authority because she had seen it happen before, and she knew how fast things could get out of control. Fans were quick to react. Social media lit up with discussions about her intervention, with many praising her for speaking up and offering wisdom when emotions were running high. Some questioned whether her words would actually be heeded, given the personalities involved. But there was no denying the weight of her opinion. As the story developed, it became clear that Remy Ma's influence extended beyond just her words. Her call for dialogue encouraged other industry figures to step back and reconsider their positions. Agents, managers, and collaborators began reaching out behind the scenes, exploring ways to mediate and de-escalate tensions before they reached a point of no return. Remy Ma's advice was also a lesson in strategy. By advocating for conversation rather than confrontation, she reminded everyone that conflict resolution requires patience, empathy, and understanding, qualities that are often overlooked in a world driven by competition, social media clout, and public perception. Her perspective also highlighted the personal toll of prolonged feuds. Behind the viral videos and heated comments were real people, dealing with stress, anxiety, and emotional strain. Remy Ma emphasized that resolving issues through dialogue not only protects reputations, but also preserves mental and emotional well-being. In interviews following her statement, she elaborated further, sharing examples from her own life and career. She recounted times when communication had prevented misunderstandings from escalating, and when speaking directly had averted potentially disastrous outcomes. Her stories resonated with viewers, reinforcing the importance of addressing issues head-on rather than allowing resentment to fester. Industry insiders took note. Many recognized that Remy Ma's intervention could be a turning point in the ongoing drama. If her advice was taken seriously, it might set a precedent for how conflicts are handled in the hip-hop community, prioritizing resolution over public spectacle, dialogue over aggression. Meanwhile, the parties involved in the feud were reportedly taking her words under serious consideration. Sources close to the situation revealed that private discussions had begun, with representatives from both sides reaching out to explore mediation. While no official resolution had been announced, the mere possibility of dialogue was enough to calm some of the surrounding tension. Fans, of course, remained invested. Social media was alive with speculation, predictions, and opinions. Many praised Remy Ma for her wisdom, calling her a voice of reason in an otherwise chaotic environment. Others were skeptical, questioning whether those involved would truly take the advice to heart. Regardless, her involvement had shifted the narrative, changing the focus from conflict to potential resolution. Remy Ma's influence in this situation demonstrates the unique power she holds within the hip-hop community. Her voice isn't just heard because she's a successful artist. It's respected because she embodies experience, credibility, and an understanding of the consequences of unchecked conflict. Her intervention serves as a reminder that even in an industry fueled by rivalry and competition, wisdom and perspective can be powerful tools for change. As tensions continued to simmer, it became evident that Remy Ma's message was more than just advice. It was a roadmap for resolution. By advocating for conversation, she provided a pathway for reconciliation, emphasizing that acknowledging mistakes, communicating openly, and seeking understanding are essential steps in resolving conflict. Her involvement also sparked wider conversations about conflict resolution in the entertainment industry. Many commentators highlighted the importance of mediation, the value of experienced voices, and the impact of public perception on personal relationships. Remy Ma's stance encouraged others to consider not just their immediate reactions, but the long-term consequences of their actions. For fans, the takeaway was clear: drama and conflict make headlines, but resolution and accountability build respect. Remy Ma's intervention underscored the importance of approaching disputes thoughtfully, with an emphasis on dialogue rather than escalation. As the episode unfolded, it was clear that her words had already begun to influence behavior behind the scenes. Calls were being made, meetings were being scheduled, and for the first time in weeks, there was a sense that progress could be made. While the outcome remained uncertain, Remy Ma's voice had introduced a new element: hope that communication, rather than chaos, could prevail. The impact of Remy Ma's intervention in the escalating hip-hop feud quickly became apparent. Behind the cameras, conversations that had previously been avoided were now taking place, albeit cautiously. Representatives, managers, and friends of both parties began reaching out, attempting to mediate and explore possible resolutions. It was clear that Remy Ma's call to talk it out was more than just advice. It had sparked real movement behind the scenes. For weeks, fans had been glued to their screens, watching clips, leaks, and social media posts fly back and forth. The feud had become a viral sensation, but now the narrative was slowly shifting. The focus was no longer just on the drama itself. It was on the potential for resolution and reconciliation. Remy Ma's words had planted a seed, suggesting that communication could replace confrontation and dialogue could take precedence over ego. The parties involved had a complicated history, filled with misunderstandings, betrayals, and past grievances that were never fully addressed. Over time, resentment had built up, and every public comment, viral clip, or social media post only added fuel to the fire. Remy Ma's advice provided an opportunity to pause, reflect, and attempt to mend relationships before they reached an irreversible breaking point. Stepping into this volatile situation, Remy Ma drew on her own experiences in the music industry. She knew firsthand how quickly misunderstandings could escalate, and how difficult it was to restore trust once it was broken. Her reputation for honesty and her ability to speak blunt truths gave her advice weight. Unlike outsiders or casual fans, her perspective was rooted in lived experience, which made her intervention both credible and compelling. The first private discussions, initiated shortly after Remy Ma's comments, were tentative. Both sides were wary, unsure if they could trust the process or if the other party was acting in good faith. But even the act of opening the lines of communication was significant. For months, tensions had been escalating because neither side had truly listened to the other. Now, with mediation underway, there was a glimmer of hope that understanding could replace hostility. Social media, of course, had its own reaction. Fans dissected every statement, every gesture, and every hint that dialogue might be occurring. Some were optimistic, applauding Remy Ma for her wisdom and influence. Others remained skeptical, questioning whether these efforts would yield tangible results, or if the feud would simply continue under a new guise. Regardless, the conversation had shifted from chaos to possibility. One of the most interesting developments was how the feud's visibility changed with Remy Ma's involvement. The media, previously focused on sensationalized clips and leaked videos, began to report on the potential for resolution. Commentators and industry insiders praised her approach, noting that encouraging communication in the public eye was a rare and commendable act. Her reputation as a level-headed and experienced voice in hip-hop gave the situation a credibility it hadn't had before. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, the parties involved began negotiating terms for a private meeting. The goal was simple but challenging: to sit down face-to-face, address grievances honestly, and attempt to reach mutual understanding. The stakes were high. If handled poorly, the meeting could backfire, fueling further drama and public scrutiny. But if successful, it could set a precedent for handling disputes constructively in the hip-hop world. As preparations continued, Remy Ma continued to weigh in, offering guidance on approach, tone, and mindset. She stressed the importance of patience and empathy, reminding both sides that listening is just as critical as speaking. In her view, the ability to truly hear the other person's perspective was what separated resolution from continued conflict. Fans began to notice subtle changes in behavior. Social media posts became less aggressive, tone shifted from confrontational to reflective, and small gestures of goodwill started appearing online. It was subtle, but for those paying close attention, it was a clear sign that Remy Ma's advice was having an impact. Dialogue, even tentative, was beginning to replace the public spectacle of the feud. As the private meeting approached, anticipation reached a fever pitch. Rumors circulated about what would be said, how emotions would be managed, and whether either party might walk away without resolution. Remy Ma's role remained critical. She served as both a mediator and an example, demonstrating that calm, experience, and honesty could guide even the most heated situations toward a constructive outcome. The meeting itself was tense, but surprisingly productive. Both parties expressed frustrations, clarified misunderstandings, and most importantly, listened. Remy Ma's earlier advice, to prioritize communication and dialogue over ego and pride, proved instrumental in guiding the conversation. By the end, there was a tentative agreement to move forward with mutual respect, though trust would take time to rebuild. The broader implications of this reconciliation were significant. Industry observers noted that the resolution could influence how future conflicts in hip-hop were handled. Instead of public feuds escalating uncontrollably, the emphasis could shift toward mediation, dialogue, and problem-solving. Remy Ma's involvement demonstrated that experienced voices can have a stabilizing effect, encouraging others to prioritize resolution over sensationalism. Social media continued to react, with fans praising the progress and expressing hope that this approach would lead to lasting peace. Some skeptics remained, but even they acknowledged that the shift from public chaos to private negotiation was a positive step. The feud, once a lightning rod for drama, was now a case study in how communication and guidance from respected figures can lead to constructive outcomes. Remy Ma's intervention also sparked conversations about leadership and responsibility in hip-hop. Her willingness to speak up, offer advice, and guide others toward resolution highlighted the influence veteran artists can have on younger generations. By modeling accountability, empathy, and strategic communication, she provided a blueprint for navigating conflicts in a high-stakes, highly visible industry. As the situation evolved, the lesson became clear: dialogue matters. Public statements, leaked videos, and social media drama may capture attention, but real progress happens when people commit to honest conversation. Remy Ma's guidance reminded everyone involved, and fans watching from home, that addressing conflicts directly, with integrity and respect, is the path to genuine resolution. Following the private meeting, the atmosphere in the hip-hop community began to shift. What had started as a viral feud dominated by leaked clips, social media arguments, and heated commentary was now moving toward resolution, all thanks to the influence and guidance of Remy Ma. Her insistence that the parties talk it out had not only set a precedent but had also sparked a ripple effect across the industry, showing that even the most entrenched conflicts could be de-escalated with the right approach. The first sign of change was subtle. Social media posts that once dripped with aggression and accusations became more measured. Both sides started posting content that reflected reflection rather than retaliation. Fans immediately noticed the difference, with online communities buzzing over the potential reconciliation. The narrative was no longer just about who was right or wrong. It was about whether honesty and dialogue could finally replace pride and spectacle. Behind the scenes, Remy Ma continued to act as an informal advisor, checking in with both parties to ensure that progress was genuine. Her experience navigating conflicts within her own career made her uniquely qualified to guide this situation. She reminded both sides that while public perception is important, the real work happens behind closed doors, listening, understanding, and being willing to compromise. The parties involved also began taking concrete steps to rebuild trust. Small gestures like private apologies and clarifying conversations became part of their routine. These actions, though minor in appearance, carried enormous weight. Each step toward transparency demonstrated commitment to resolving the feud, rather than prolonging it for public attention or ratings. For fans, the transformation was both surprising and inspiring. Many had grown accustomed to seeing reality stars escalate conflicts for drama and viewership, but this story offered something different, a model for resolution. Online discussions shifted from debate over drama to analysis of the steps toward reconciliation. People began highlighting the role of mentorship, respect, and patience, all exemplified by Remy Ma's involvement. The media also took notice. Publications that had previously sensationalized the feud now reported on the progress, highlighting the importance of dialogue and accountability. Headlines praised the shift from public spectacle to private mediation and emphasized the significance of experienced voices guiding the process. This coverage further reinforced the idea that conflict could be handled thoughtfully, even in the highly charged environment of hip-hop reality television. Meanwhile, the relationship dynamics among the main figures continued to evolve. While not all issues were fully resolved, there was a noticeable reduction in tension and hostility. Conversations became more constructive, and there was a willingness to acknowledge past mistakes and learn from them. For both sides, this process was an exercise in humility, emotional intelligence, and strategic thinking, skills that are often overlooked in the pursuit of fame and attention. Remy Ma's influence extended beyond the immediate feud. Other artists and reality TV personalities began reflecting on how they handle disputes, recognizing the value of mediation, mentorship, and dialogue. Her intervention became a talking point, not just for fans but for industry professionals, who saw firsthand how one respected voice could redirect the course of a potentially destructive conflict. As the story unfolded, it became clear that accountability was central to progress. Both parties had to own their mistakes and take responsibility for their actions. Remy Ma's advice emphasized that genuine reconciliation isn't about winning or losing. It's about acknowledging harm, making amends, and committing to better behavior in the future. By modeling this approach, she demonstrated that even in high stakes, public conflicts, integrity and honesty could prevail. The personal growth displayed by both sides was equally significant. Where once pride and ego dictated responses, now reflection and understanding played a major role. By embracing dialogue over confrontation, they were able to de-escalate emotions that had previously threatened to spiral out of control. This evolution offered viewers an important lesson about the power of communication, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. As the feud continued to fade from headlines, the lasting impact of Remy Ma's intervention became evident. The parties involved were now engaged in ongoing conversations, ensuring that misunderstandings were addressed before they could escalate. For fans and industry insiders alike, this shift demonstrated that even the most heated conflicts can be managed with the right combination of honesty, strategy, and mentorship. Social media continued to celebrate the progress. Posts highlighting moments of reconciliation, private apologies, and mutual understanding received overwhelming engagement. Fans appreciated seeing a resolution rooted in dialogue rather than drama, and many shared their own experiences of conflict and resolution, inspired by the example set by Remy Ma and the parties involved. Producers and other reality TV figures also took note. The situation underscored the importance of guidance and oversight in managing public conflicts. By promoting dialogue and accountability rather than sensationalism, they could maintain audience engagement while ensuring that cast members were treated fairly and responsibly. Remy Ma's approach became a blueprint for responsible intervention in a genre often criticized for exploiting personal disputes. Ultimately, the resolution reinforced the core message Remy Ma had conveyed from the beginning: talking it out matters. Dialogue, transparency, and accountability are not signs of weakness. They are tools for strength, growth, and long-term stability. In a world where public perception often drives behavior, her voice reminded everyone involved that genuine communication is invaluable. As the feud receded into the past, the lessons learned continued to resonate. Remy Ma's intervention proved that even high-profile, emotionally charged conflicts can be navigated successfully when guided by wisdom, experience, and a commitment to truth. The parties involved began to focus on rebuilding trust, maintaining professionalism, and fostering healthier relationships moving forward. For fans, the saga offered more than entertainment. It provided a masterclass in conflict resolution. The combination of mentorship, reflection, and dialogue transformed what could have been a destructive spectacle into an opportunity for growth, understanding, and reconciliation. By the end of this chapter in hip-hop drama, it was clear that the true victory wasn't about public perception or social media points. It was about restoring balance, fostering communication, and showing that even the most heated conflicts can be resolved when handled thoughtfully. Remy Ma's role in this story will be remembered as a defining moment, illustrating that leadership, experience, and a commitment to dialogue can change the course of even the most chaotic situations. If you've been following the drama, you already know how explosive things got, but tonight's events prove there's more to hip-hop than just conflict and chaos. Remy Ma stepped in with a message that cut through the noise. Sometimes, the only way to resolve tension is to sit down, communicate, and really listen. Her advice wasn't just words. It was a lesson in accountability, patience, and emotional intelligence, qualities that are often overlooked in the fast-paced world of fame and reality. TV watching the parties involved finally take steps towards dialogue and understanding is a reminder that resolution is possible, even when emotions are high and stakes are higher. From private apologies to honest conversations, each effort to rebuild trust shows that growth comes from facing issues head-on rather than letting pride and ego dictate actions. This is where you come in. Make sure to subscribe to Puzzle Swipe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss the inside scoop on the biggest celebrity dramas and behind-the-scenes revelations. We bring you not only the breaking news, but the full breakdown of how these stories unfold. The real truth that the headlines only hint at. The lesson from tonight is clear. Conflicts happen, but communication and accountability change everything. Keep watching as we follow every twist and turn, every private meeting, and every jaw-dropping revelation. This is Puzzle Swipe, where drama meets truth and you get the story that everyone else is talking about, with all the context you need. The next chapter is coming, and you won't want to miss it.